As I've made these insanely personal vlogs, and as I've continued to make more and more videos throughout the last month or so, the last few weeks at least, I've realized that YouTube is not only just something that gives me a purpose, not only something that makes me happy, it also works as a form of medicine for me. You know, not like the medications over there I take, a different sort of medicine, a sort of medicine that makes me express myself in a way that I cannot anywhere else, in a way that human connections cannot simply fulfill, in a way that chemical changes to the brain cannot simply fulfill. It allows me to have a medium of expression that I can truly call my own, and that I can say I am perfectly comfortable saying whatever to. You know, like once I've admitted everything onto YouTube, well, there's nothing else to admit anymore. There's nothing else I have to hide, and I don't have anything to hide. Like, once everything is spilled out onto YouTube, then it's all there. It's all gone. And so I really like that. I really like that idea of I am just going to say absolutely everything about myself onto the internet and just be this person who exists that you can study and you can understand through these videos. And I think in many ways being able to just say everything like that, being able to just let everything out, is insanely therapeutic because it allows me to be myself unfiltered and to express that in a way that isn't just in my mind. It allows me to take these thoughts that I have in my mind and express them into a medium that, in my opinion, is artistic. Like getting up on camera like this and being able to talk continuously and being able to put my words together and to be a performance on camera, to be someone who is a personality, to be able to be someone who comes up with topics and minces the words together towards those topics and like just puts it all together in a YouTube persona that eventually forms its own identity, is in my opinion art. The editing is art. The talking is art. It's performative art. It's speech. You know, what I am doing is a verbal orientation. So I think in many ways this is my art, and because I have this as my art, I am able to be better off mentally because I have this as my mode of expression. I have this as my medium of expression. And that allows me to feel much better about myself because once I've said it on the internet, once I've said it to everyone on YouTube, well, you know, anybody who says otherwise towards my thoughts don't really matter because I've gotten everything out onto the internet. Everything's there, so what can you possibly say to me that's going to affect me when I'm just so public about everything about myself? There's no secrets there, you know? There's nothing there that I'm trying to hide, and so when you get to that level of honesty, it's like nothing can even harm you. It's like no single word in the world can even touch you just because you are so comfortable with the idea of yourself that you just put every aspect of yourself out into the world. And so I think YouTube is really good for this. YouTube is a fantastic medium of expression to be just 100% yourself and to explain who you are in the most depth possible. Because YouTube encourages this. As I've said many times, YouTube is a parasocial medium. It's a medium where people follow personalities and they basically get the idea that they're their friend. They get the feeling of being their friend despite not being their friend. And what's great about YouTube is that it can present this heightened sense of a human being while also, you know, making them feel like a friend who you're talking to. And what I mean when I say this is that it takes all of the biggest aspects of our personalities and it turns them into a television show. I am not usually like this when I talk to most people. Sure, I go on long rants, sure, I talk about the same things, sure, I'm honest. I am more honest than most YouTubers, but the fact that I'm on camera, and the fact that I'm telling you all of this, the fact that I'm speaking in this certain way, and that I'm moving in this certain way, I mean, I move this certain way all the time, but what I'm trying to say is that the fact that there's a title to the video, the fact that there's a topic, the fact that I'm up here being a heightened version of myself is creating a heightened reality because YouTube is meant to be entertainment. So if I were to, you know, go out into like wherever, McDonald's, who cares? You're not going to want to watch that because that's not entertainment, unless I can turn the McDonald's experience into, oh boy, social anxiety, time to expose this raw aspect of my life. But even then, that's still making my aspects of my life into a show, because it's intentionally trying to show that honest aspect of myself, but just in a heightened version of it for television. And if it ends up not being interesting, you just don't release it. But if it ends up being interesting, you do release it. So I think YouTube is just a heightened version of our existence, a heightened version of reality. And when you think about it in this way, the fact that I am, quote-unquote, your friend, your parasocial relationship, in this sense, that you have a relationship with me where you're taking so much from me and that you're enjoying so much of my presence and of my existence in the way that you would with a friendship, I just don't talk back to you except in the comments, it gets this feeling of fucking personas and shit, of cults of personalities. And I think cultivating your cult of personality and your identity as a YouTube channel is an art in and of itself, because there's so many different ways that you could go about it. There's so many different ways you could present who you are, and the act of being good at presenting who you are is an art in and of itself, because it takes time to do. It takes practice to be able to talk. It takes practice to do what I'm doing right now. And so what you're looking at right here is, holy shit, I started in 2015, it's 2018 now. 4 years. 4 years of practice, maybe even before that, because to be honest, I started in 2014 with the Minecraft videos. I just don't really count those, so that's, that's a lot of time. Or wait, no, that is 4 years. 2015 is 3 years. Fucking head numbers. I've never been good at numbers. I have dyscalculia, like, confirmed. Have dyscalculia, so I can't look at numbers correctly or process them correctly. Yeah. What I'm trying to get at here is that fucking YouTube is my thing. I use it to talk and to express myself and to get all my thoughts out there. And a lot of the time, it's better than a real person, because I hate people, like, a lot. Like, the act of talking to people is something that I can never shake, the feeling of it being bad. And, like, I always feel like I have to be someone who isn't myself. I always feel like I have to talk in a way that isn't myself. And YouTube just allows me to sit here and be 100% my own person, and to speak in a way that I see myself as speaking, as I see my manner of speaking being. I can put it out on YouTube. Yes, it is heightened, it's a bit exaggerated, but it is far more honest than what I would typically give to most people in a conversation, because I have to pretend to be interested in them. I have to pretend to laugh at their jokes. I have to, sit there and act invested when there is just no investment. I have to sit there and put on a mimetic, persona of me making all these stupid jokes that I don't even like myself. So those things, when you think about those factors and a lot of socializing, of course I would like YouTube more, because I don't have to do that on YouTube. I can just sit here and say whatever the fuck I want without, any sort of social questioning, because the comments don't exist. I have no anxiety when I go into the comments, because they aren't real people. The things that people in the comments say mean nothing to me. Okay, that's not entirely true. I like positive comments a lot. Like, positive comments make me really happy, but in terms of negative comments, those just don't bother me that much. Sometimes they make me angry, but that's only usually when it's like a personal friend making the negative comment. Like, when it's someone who I have zero relationship with, I can just respond to their criticism and just respond to their ideas, without fucking sticking my foot up my ass or whatever. So, like, it's good to be able to see things this way, that the commenters are not real people. I mean, they are real people, but also they're not. There's a level of disconnect to it. And so when you see it in that way, it's a lot easier to not be anxious about comments. It's a lot easier to be someone who talks on the internet when you can't necessarily talk in real life and be yourself, because, like, my form of social anxiety more so comes in terms of like, I am going to lie and act like a completely different person than I actually am, and that's how I deal with it. And when I'm not doing that, I'm simply sitting there entirely silent. I'm saying 0 words, I'm saying nothing, and I just avoid all conversations at that point, but when I'm forced into one, I will just lie constantly. Like, I just keep lying when I'm in social situations like it's nothing. Like, I don't feel bad for it. I don't get any sort of, like, guilt for lying in social situations. I will just do it and do it and do it. Like, it's like candy to me. It's like I'm fucking taking crack rocks or something. Like, it's just, there's this sort of, rush to being able to craft a really good lie, and to being able to, like, get people to do something for you who you don't even know and who you don't care about. But when it comes to my friends and when it comes to the people who I'm close with, you know, obviously that's a very different situation where I don't want to lie to these people because I care about them. But with any just random person, a lot of the time I will just simply lie as a self-defense mechanism and somewhat out of boredom. So when it comes to just normal people, like, I just cannot bring myself out around them. I just can't say things. I just can't put words out into the open that are genuine because the fear of persecution is just too strong. And so when I say any words in public at all, so like, it's just bad. You know, interacting with people is just bad, and people are so boring that I just don't care. Like, normal people just have nothing to offer. I feel nothing towards them, so why would I even want to talk to them? But this is getting way off track. Basically what I'm trying to say is that YouTube provides me everything therapeutic that I could get in many social interactions, just in an artistic medium. Like, it allows me to speak and to express myself in a way that many people would to their friends, but it gives me a level of comfort because it's my art and because it's something that I do by myself. When I'm talking to the audience, I'm not talking to an audience, I'm talking to me. And talking to me is something I do all the fucking time. I'm constantly narrating everything I do, so this is normal for me. It's like I'm talking to myself, and I'm extremely comfortable with myself, so I can do that in a heightened YouTube TV show reality, you know? So, it's not that much different. It's just learning how to apply what you already do to this other medium. And so when you tend to think about it that way, it's just taking your thoughts and then putting them in slightly different material conditions, you know. And so that's basically the point I'm making. YouTube is my mode of expression. It's my medicine. Like, YouTube is how I sit here and get through the day and am able to compartmentalize these thoughts and am able to deal with the existence of these thoughts. I just talk at a fucking vlog camera, you know? I talk at a vlog camera until I can get them out, until I can feel comfortable with them, and until they've subsided and I can move on to a new thing. So it helps me. It helps me a lot just deal with my own thought process and air out my own thought process and feel happy. Like, the act of making a video makes me incredibly happy just because I love the medium itself so much. And so when there's that internal love there for the thing that I'm making and for the content that I'm watching, there's going to be a lot of feeling behind getting the work done and behind making the actual work. And so there's an element of therapy and an element of medicine that also comes through with that, of having a hobby that you deeply enjoy. It's always here for me. When I'm sad, you know, I make videos like the I'm sad and I have no motivation video, which to many could seem as a simply conniving attempt at pity, or to get people to look and say, hey, you know, this person's sad, let me pity them, ooh woo. But that wasn't what I was trying to do with that video. That was me trying to air out my thought process and trying to get those thoughts out there and turn my feelings into art. And when I did that, after I recorded that video, I actually felt a lot better. And so making YouTube videos all the time is how I get my feelings out. It's how I deal with my feelings. That is the medication effect that I'm talking about that YouTube has.